Here with Tito Ortiz in Newport. Tito, what's going on with this fight you told me you wanted to have a few weeks back? Is there any progress with that?
I'm a little bit happier, yeah. I don't know. I think all my fans are really getting into Viacom, Bellator, and Scott's ear on Twitter because that's all they hear, that's all they want to see. And so, I don't know. I leave my career in Scott's hands, and whatever he can do, he can do. I'm just going to train right now and just get ready to fight. You know, I'm helping Kendall Grove for his match. It'll be, was it May 15th? So, he's a perfect match to Liam. Why not just get ready for it so if it does happen? I don't know, just keep my body ready and stay in shape.
It's kind of like a pre-camp thing?
Pre-camp.
Like
it's the first time ever I've actually been able to do things with no injuries. I've known my back's been great, my neck's been great, my knee's been great. I think my mind's just what's keeping me strong throughout my whole body. So I think why not train, help Kendall out, help him become a world champ. You know, me and him go way back, and I want to see him be successful, and I think he could be.
Does it feel weird having this time? Like you mentioned, like no injuries and stuff. Is it kind of like like a shock in a way?
It's kind of like a shock. It's like my life has been revamped completely, man. I think everything at home, everything with my friends, everything with the people that I work with. It's just when it's in a positive environment, I think I love it a little more. My body reacts to that. You know, with a positive mind, and my mind, I know I can accomplish anything.
So has Scott told you anything about the potential fight with Liam at all? Like around like a certain date that maybe it could happen?
I can't say.
You can't say.
I would love to say something, but
so you do know. So
I'm just getting ready to fight. How's
Yeah.
that? I'm just getting ready for fight, and I don't know. Time will tell.
Time will tell.
Time will tell.
Okay. Now,
but I will be fighting. I will be fighting soon. That's for sure.
And then like the next 3 to 6 months.
For sure, 100%. 3 to 6
100%?
months, I'll be fighting for sure, and I'll be happy. All my fans will be happy. I'll get an opportunity that I've always wanted to do. So it'll be cool.
Pay-per-view? Or is
No, this is free television.
Free television.
Yeah,
Okay.
I fight for Bellator. We give free fights, and I think my fans deserve it. You know, I want to put on a great show for them to watch the event, and when it's free, Scott's in charge and making it look great. The last one looked great, but this time I know for sure that I'll have to fight better. I will fight better. My mind will be right, and I'll get my hand raised.
Now, you represented Cyborg for a very long time.
Yes.
And you stepped aside so all this other
She's a
stuff
friend.
get done.
That's
She's a
how we
friend
do-
at this point. So what do you think about her being signed now, but like the little catch that if she makes 135, she'll be able to fight Ronda, but she's still signed with Zuffa?
You know, she's signed with Zuffa. She fights in a UFC banner, but she fights for Invictus. So if she could get down to 135, or if the fans could kind of convince Ronda to make 140, which makes probably the most sense. People want to see the fight. They want to see the biggest fight. Where Ronda said that she'll fight Layla Ali was just crazy. I mean, Layla Ali outweighs her by like 50 pounds. It doesn't make any sense, but it just shows that she's just afraid to fight Chris or Cyborg. You know, Chris is a wonderful person, a wonderful champ. But you know, my kudos to Ronda. She's done some amazing things these last 6 months. You know, the movies, WWE. I mean, I follow it. It's great for her. And but when it comes to fighting, it's not about a movie. It's not about a professional wrestling match. It's a real fight, and you got to fight the best in the world. And I think a 5-pound difference ain't that much. I mean, Chris says she wants a fighter. Don't care. She don't really care about the title. She just wants to get an opportunity to shut her up. And you know, I think Chris really deserves that.
You being a fighter and still active, and even given your experience, when you heard, well, let me start off as this. Were you ever a fan of catchweight fights? Tell me why or why not.
You know, catchweight fights are fine. I think in this instance it's a little different because it's not about a title. It's about someone who spoke upon another person in a violent way, and she wants payback, you know. She's not afraid of a fighter. You know, you look at Anderson Silva, he stepped up many times in a different weight class. Many other guys have stepped in a different weight class. It's not about a title. I think the fight should be done. They should have fought each other already anyways, and that's why Ronda actually cut down to 135. She started her career at 145 when she fought for Strikeforce, but she would run away from Chris. And but she's a superstar, as I said. Ronda's done some amazing things thanks to UFC, Dana White, Lindsay Fertitta. If it wasn't for them, she wouldn't be where she is. You know, she is a great fighter, but their competition hasn't been great. But kudos to her for the great things she's done.
Do you feel that her insisting that the fight take place at 135 is more of a like a tactic on her end to kind of?
It's not a tactic. It's just a factor of, she wants to get Chris as low as weight as possible, so she's weak as possible.
Yeah.
Because how vicious Chris really is. Chris is willing to cut down to 140, and she's going to try to make 130. But at the end of the day, if she can't make 135, why not make the fight at 140? I think that really would make the sense because it's not for a world title. Chris don't care about a world title. She just wants to fight Ronda and just see who the best pound for pound woman fighter in the world is.
I know that's the sentiment shared by a lot of people. It's just they want to see him fight. It's like Mayweather Pacquiao, but on the MMA side, when you're used to seeing all these fights happen on and the MMA
they're both
side.
dominant. I mean, they're both really dominant at their weight. Why not make a catch weight, a 5-pound difference, ain't that much? Chris is actually getting smaller at 140, and Ronda steps up to 140 herself. It's only a 5-pound difference. I mean, give the fans what they want to see. I mean, I've always wanted to see it hugely, and Chris wants it like no other. The only person it seems like doesn't want it is Ronda Rousey. She sits in the chair. I mean, they're both champions. Chris has been champion at 145 for over 3.5 years, and Ronda's been at 135 because she didn't want to fight Chris at 145. Doesn't make any sense when Ronda really wrestled or did judo at 154. Now she's down to 35, and she won't make an extra 5-pound difference to fight one of the best girls in the world. That I think, but it just shows that she's afraid of the viciousness that Chris brings. She's dangerous. She finishes girls. She don't submit them. She hurts them. She makes them quit. And all of her last title defenses with Invicta, she's shown that.
Let me ask you this then. Ronda's known to finish people in the first round. Same with Cyborg. Does that fight, if they do fight, end up finishing up in the first round, or do you see it going a little bit longer?
I'd say going at least to the third. I think Ronda has a lot of heart, and I think she'd take a beating for 3 rounds. It just goes back to Gina Carano when she fought Chris. I think it'd be lasting almost the same thing. But Ronda is very dangerous with judo, very dangerous on the ground, and we would have our work cut out for us if the fight did end up happening.